Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Mordian Glory video. In today's episode we continue our analysis of the new 10th edition Guard Index and the units contained within it. This time we cast our critical eye over everyone's favourite lunge lady in space, Ursular Creed. Well, for all of you Cadian fanboys out there, I've got good news, because it looks like Creed is back on the menu, boys. Armed with a whole host of new and powerful abilities, Ursular Creed is looking better than ever. And even if you don't have purple eyes, you're going to want to consider her for your list. You know what? It's time for a classic, bold, Mordian Glory statement. I might even go as far to say that Ursular Creed is an auto-include. And with that potentially controversial statement made and the hype train in full overdrive, let's dive into today's episode. As is tradition, we're going to begin with an overview of who the hell Ursular Creed even is. This is for people who are new to 40k, or perhaps you're a veteran player who's getting into the Guard for the first time. Like the Lord Solar, Ursular Creed is a new character that was brought into the Guard as part of the 9th edition Codex. She is the daughter of Usaka E. Creed, the previous Supreme Commander of the Cadian forces and the Guard's old main special character. Sadly, Daddy Creed fell on Cadia, but Ursular Creed has picked up the mantle and is now leading the Cadian shock troops in their righteous revenge against the forces of chaos. Taking up her father's mantle, she has equipped herself in a similar manner, with a brace of pistols and a power sword. But most interestingly, she also wears a big old leather greatcoat like he did. Most of her fellow officers assume it is a faithful replica, designed to inspire bravery in the guardsmen around her as they are reminded of Usaka Creed. But little do they know, it's actually the genuine article. Appearing mysteriously in her quarters after the fall of Cadia, the coat provides Ursula with a sense of comfort, but it also torments her, because she now believes her father is out there, lost amongst the stars, or perhaps held in captivity. Overall, Lady Creed is presented to us very much as her father's daughter. She is strong, stoic, and unflappable, but she does have some character flaws that make her interesting. Now, this is all well and good from the lore perspective, but how does she perform on the tabletop? Come on, Mordian Glory, less of the fluff, more of the crunch. Well, let's begin by analysing her stat line. She is an infantry officer and as a result has a standard 6-inch movement. She's only toughness 3, bringing her in line with pretty much every guardsman stat line out there. She does have an improved save of 4+. Most guardsmen or their equivalent have a 5+ save. 4 wounds puts her on the same level as a Cadian Castellan. Leadership 7+, little bit of a surprise. She is a senior officer. I would have expected her to be leadership 6, but I guess only that sort of bravery comes with being a Lord Solar. And she has an objective control of 1, which isn't very impressive, but again, she's not a battle line unit, so probably what you would expect. Creed comes equipped with both ranged and melee weapons. In the shooting department, she has Duty and Vengeance. These are the special pistols on her model, and they're actually pretty good, with a range of 12 inches, 4 attacks, which is quite the rate of fire, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, 8-2, and 1 damage. Now, she's not going to be blowing the heads off any demon princes anytime soon, but if you've got her embedded in a squad and you're getting into that close range firefight, do not dismiss her firepower. It will probably pick up a couple of extra models, especially if you're facing off against guardsmen or guardsman equivalent. As for the choppy, there's nothing really that interesting here. She comes with a standard power weapon, she has a standard power weapon profile, and in fact, the exact damage output can be replicated by using a standard Cadian Castellan armed with power sword. That's not to say having more power swords is a bad thing, it's just to say that she's not bringing anything particularly mind-blowing to the table in the close combat area. However, all of this is basically a moot point, because as I discussed in the Lord Solar video, if you've not seen that one, don't worry, I'll make sure it's linked at the end of this episode. Guard officers are not there to do damage. We're not space marines running around getting into honorable duels and fighting the cosmic horrors of the universe. We're humans. And the job of a guard officer is to be a force multiplier. And that's what they should be judged on. And so can Creed act as a good force multiplier? Simple answer is yes. The Mordian answer is, oh, fuck yes. You see, Creed's main powers come from her abilities, and starting off we have a good one, the core rule, Leader. This means she can be attached to other units, making her much more survivable than if she had to run around on her own. Slightly disappointingly, because she is a Cadian character, GW in their Infinite Wisdom have decided that she can only join Cadian or pseudo-Cadian units. Therefore, you can only attach Creed to Cadian shock troops, an infantry squad, or Kazakin. This isn't the end of the world. Thank God that infantry squad option is in there, so you can essentially have a boost up a generic unit and you can have your stand-in Creed model still work. But it's a shame you can't attach it to things like Deathcore or even Catachans, because I think there would have been some interesting tactical options there. Honestly though, it's more of a fly in the ointment than a serious drawback, and Leader is always going to be a good thing. Where we start getting really spicy is in her Lord Castellan and Tactical Genius abilities. Lord Castellan allows you to issue 2 different orders to the unit that Creed is leading and have them both be in effect. That's right, order stacking is here. And it is amazing. The range of tactical options you have thanks to this ability is mind-blowing. You can use it aggressively. Oh, I want to do as much damage as possible. I'm going to have take aim and first rank fire, second rank fire. All the extra shots and all of the extra hitting. Or you can be a little bit more balanced and go, okay, I need to be a little bit aggressive, but I also need to be able to survive the incoming attacks. I'm going to go for take aim or first rank fire, second rank fire, and stack that with take cover, meaning I get Daka, but I also get to protect. On the other hand, you could be like, right, I need to get onto that objective, and at the same time, I need to hold that objective in the following turn. So I'm going to go for move, and take cover, meaning I can sprint across the battlefield and still have a decent save when I get to where I'm going. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's loads of different combinations you could do. You could go fixed bayonets and move to drive them, men, drive them. You could start combining things like take cover and duty and honor and regimental standards to just make a unit that's never going to lose an objective. There's almost too many combinations to talk about. But the point I'm trying to make here is, by being able to stack 2 orders on one unit, you can create an incredibly powerful and flexible big blob of guardsmen. But it's not just the line infantry which are going to benefit from Creed, because things start getting really wacky when you add it into a Kazakin squad and use the Lord Castellan. Because Kazakin can be issued an order, and thanks to Creed, they can be issued another order, and then using their warrior elite ability, they can essentially give themselves another order on top of that. That's right. A unit of Kazakin could go into battle and be under the effect of 3 orders at the same time each turn. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the amount of combinations this could lead to. But just off the top of my head, the idea of being able to tell a Kazakin squad with plasma and hotshot volley guns to first rank fire, second rank fire, and take aim, and fix bayonets is terrifying. If you need to clear an objective in record time, that's gonna do it. But wait, there's more! We've got the Tactical Genius ability. Once per battle round, 1 unit from your army within 12 inches of this model can be targeted with a stratagem for 0 CP, even if another unit from your army has already been targeted with that stratagem this phase. That's right, it's free stratagem time, baby! And my god, my mind is just blown by this ability. The different things you could do with it are just completely wild. First up, Do you want to put Fields of Fire on 2 enemy units, giving you extra AP across the board? I mean, GW said, oh, we're going to reduce AP in 10th edition. Apparently, Guard didn't get that memo. Or you could be more defensive, use Suppressive Fire twice, and add Mass 1 to hit modifiers on a couple of enemy units. Or my personal favourite, the Pseudo Heavy Weapon team. Do you like taking 3 squads of mortars in your army? How about taking 5 squads of mortars in your army? Mordian Glory, you can't do that. They're not battle line. Rule of 3. Well. Introducing Ursular Creed and her tactical genius ability. Step 1. Take 3 units of mortars and use them to bomb the shit out of your opponent in your turn. Step 2. In your opponent's turn, after their movement phase, use the Overwatch stratagem on your mortars. When they're shooting Overwatch and they're near a friendly platoon unit, they hit on 4s. Even when firing indirectly, it's an unmodified 4+. Brilliant. Oh, guess what? Tactical Genius comes in. You use Overwatch again. And now you can fire in one battle round your 3 squads of mortars 5 times, essentially giving you the damage output of 5 squads of heavy weapon teams. Now, sadly, I don't think you can use Ursula Creed's ability to get 2 squads back using the reinforcement stratagem. I would love it if that would be the case, and I hope GW release an FAQ saying, yeah, of course you can, go for it. But right now, rules as written, I don't think you can. This is because the reinforcement stratagem says you have to use that on a unit that's just been destroyed. It doesn't say before you remove the last model, you can use reinforcements. Therefore, the unit has been destroyed and they're not on the battlefield, and therefore they're not within 12 inches of Creed. Even if they were before they died, I think you can't do it. They're not on the battlefield. Before they get put into the destroyed pile, they're essentially in limbo, and that's when reinforcements comes in. But like I said, I would love for GW to just come along and go, you know what? Reinforcement still counts for this thing, because that would be completely bonkers being able to bring back up to 20 Kazakin or 40 infantry in a turn. I mean, come on, GW. Go on. Go on. Let me unleash the never-ending tides of humanity's true finest. Send in the next wave. Glory to the first man to die. I just want to roleplay, GW. Just let me do it. But returning from fantasy back to reality for a moment, let's go over the last but certainly not least thing that Creed is bringing to the table, and that is the fact she can do 2 orders to regiment units. Now, to be clear, she cannot do orders to your tanks. They are squadron units, and they would need a tank commander or the Lord Solar to tell them what to do. But 2 orders to infantry is pretty nice. Even if you just stick her in a squad and she does those 2 orders to the thing that she's leading, that's fine. But if you've got her paired up with a platoon command squad and they've got a Master Vox, you can start projecting those 2 orders out elsewhere where you may need them. I know on the surface it looks like a bit of a nerf, the fact she's gone down from being able to do 3 orders in 9th to 2 orders in 10th, but relatively speaking, she has maintained her place because everyone else has also had the number of orders reduced. Your Canadian Castellan can only do 1 now, and that's the same for your command squads and your tank commanders too. And frankly, being able to do 2 orders is just really valuable, considering we've got less overall, and the fact they don't splash to other units as well, like they used to back in the old codex. Now, all of these orders and abilities alone would be enough to make Creed an A tier unit, but she jumps right up into S tier. She's all the way to the moon, diamond hands, when you take into account her bargain point cost of only 55 points. That's only 5 points more than a Canadian Castellan. And I know the Canadian Castellan brings his own things to the table, but all of this for 55 points is just mind-bogglingly good. Frankly, it's this points cost which makes her an auto-include. If you were considering taking a normal Castellan just because you wanted access to some more orders, you might as well go for Creed instead. You get so much more for that extra 5 points. Well, at least That's what I think. Of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Are you planning on taking Lady Creed, or do you have other officers in mind that you think work better? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. If you found today's video particularly fun and informative, then please consider becoming a channel member or Patreon. By supporting the channel, you will not only help me create more Warhammer 40k videos, but also unlock a whole host of perks for yourself. The biggest of which being access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with over 1,500 active people. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for discussing tactics, army list, 10th edition, hobbying, painting, and even a pretty spicy meme area as well. And I'd just like to take a moment to say a big thank you to all of the latest channel members. So thank you to Scott Collins, Bad Bet, Daniel W, D-Day, Longcaster, Dragon Turtle, Lightning Stab, Roy Rochendale, Rev, Dan Mack, Brandon Ledford, M. Dole Stout, Andy Ramone, The Lilliputian, Effects, Matt Valentine, Sam Fisk, Ermit, Grim Byron, Lucy Bodham, Liam Bridgman, James Schaefer, Disman Pickman, Ill-Advised Records, Jonathan Corey, King Tiger the Great, Jono Williams, and The Raging Fury. Thank you guys for doing your part. I also want to shout out the latest Patreons as well, so a big thank you to James Kiddy, Apollo Stratus, Meg Sumner, The Dark Warfare, Benjamin Hilker, Charles Hartman, The Elder Kine, MP Bros 20, Dare Fish, Jeffrey Hill, Digit, Harsig Ruman, Conan Larkin, Daware 7, Ewan Furs, Jesse Tucker, Jonathan Vega, Franz Calamari, Michael Straub, and Legendary Hot Dog. And last, but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreon supporters. These are the War Masters, the people that have gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a massive, heartfelt thank you to Alan Blunt III, Bon Vert, Mark Panconi, Ross Miller, Sulfish Trombone, John Stubbs, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Thank you guys. Your incredible and generous support is a huge part of what allows me to do Mordian Glory full time. I hope you've all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.